It is the popular saying that a healthy society is a wealthy one. On the Great Mind program, medical experts are available to provide solutions to various health challenges. You desire greatness in life. Successful men and women in the society are available on the Great Mind program to reveal to you the secrets to their greatness. The Great Mind of Nenti Oshogbo is a watch for all. Meet me on the program every Sunday between 3:30 and 4 p.m.
Happy Sunday to you all. It is another exciting moment with me, Bola Olayode, on the program The Great Mind. The personality we are celebrating on the program this week is a professor of English, Professor Samuel Ayodele. While on the S segment, we are discussing the action of Osun Health Insurance Agency in establishing its branches across the local government areas of the state. Osun Health Insurance Agency, in its efforts to ensure that the residents in Osun State easily access qualitative health care without tears, the agency has robust health plan for all sectors in the state, among which are family package, informal sector, organized private sector, and individual package, which the enrollee only pays a token of 12,066 naira for a whole year to access qualitative health care services of Osun Health Insurance Agency. More so, the vulnerable people that have been captured across the local government areas of the state by Osun Health Insurance Agency for the free health care component of the agency are also benefiting from the juicy packages offered by Osun Health Insurance Agency with the support of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola. The benefits offered by Osun Health Insurance Agency to the enrollees are eye care, minor surgeries, cesarean birth, maternal health, dental care, diabetes management, pediatrics, hypertension, orthopedics, and many more. It will be recalled that objectives of Osun Health Insurance Agency include easy access of residents in the state to effective, quality, and affordable healthcare services, protecting families from financial hardship of huge medical bills, containing the cost of healthcare services to attain efficiency, as well as ensuring equitable distribution of health costs across different income groups, and also maintaining high standard of healthcare delivery services within health sectors, among others. Few weeks ago, as part of its efforts to expand healthcare on an equitable basis and improve the quality of service delivery, Osun Health Insurance Agency presented ICT infrastructure support and health management information tools to accredited healthcare providers in the state to facilitate them and make them to perform optimally, and also organize capacity building simultaneously for them to ensure the judicious use of the tools in the interest of the entire people of Osun State. Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Health, Mr. Benga Oyibode, at the event presented the tools to the healthcare providers on behalf of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola. Shortly after the capacity building organized by Osun Health Insurance Agency for the accredited healthcare providers, where ICT infrastructure support and health management information tools were presented to them, Osun Health Insurance Agency also organized facility level training for the World Development Chairmen and public health providers on the operation of the Health Insurance Gateway of Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. Since it is the ultimate goal of Osun Health Insurance Agency to develop excellence in the public health care providers with teaching procedures and inspiration to effectively discharge their duties for the success of public care system in Osun State, because of the commitment of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola to the well-being of the people of the state. Osun Health Insurance Agency also organized facility-level training for the stakeholders on the operation of the Health Insurance Gateway of Basic Health Care Provision Fund, which comprised health of primary health care system across the local government areas of the state, where they were taught the rudiments of human relations regarding their duties as healthcare providers. As part of efforts to ensure that the residents in Osun State benefit maximally from the robust health packages of Osun Health Insurance Agency, the agency has concluded the arrangements for the establishment of its branches across all the local government areas of the state. The Executive Secretary, Dr. Adeniji Ogini, explains the reason for the action of the agency.
We have a plan to establish the local government offices, our OIS business offices, in all the local government headquarters in the state. This is necessitated by the fact that our activities has got to a level where we must decentralize. By decentralizing, I mean we want our officers to be closer to the enrollees as possible. And about 2 or 3 months ago, we concluded the enrollment of 63,912 vulnerable persons, which are all living in the grassroots. So we want OIS to be as close to them as possible. They no longer have to come from Ifetedo or come from Ifedayo to bring things to OIS headquarters. They can go to their local government council headquarters where we have an office. The local government business officer of OIS will be there. They will lodge their complaints, they can collate all of their data they want to submit and everything, and from there they can be transmitted to us electronically without any problem. And they can also help with the enrollment of more people, whether they are informal sector participants or market women, organized private sector also. They can enroll at their local government without having to come to the headquarters. That is what we're trying to do. So far, we have 9 out of the 30 local governments, because since 2020, last quarter of 2020, we have spoken to the local health authority secretaries in the State Primary Healthcare Board. We have spoken to them concerning the need for us to have an office space. We're not asking that the local government will furnish those office spaces. We're only asking that they give us an office space, which we will renovate and we will furnish minimally, at least, to be able to allow for our activities to be conducted in a conducive environment. So that is what we are going to do. We have the 9 now. From tomorrow, we are going into, we're going to draw an itinerary and we begin to visit these offices that have been provided for us. Ayodele has given us a space, Atakuma Southwest has given us a space, Boluwaduru has given us a space, Ebedore, Ejibo, Ilesha East, Ife Central, and Odo-Oti, and Osogbo. These are the local governments that have so far given us their office space for us to use, and we already have what it takes to go in there and put the place into use. So like I said, we drop the itinerary, we'll go visit the place, and then we'll start putting in all the things that's necessary. We renovate and we furnish, and then we post our officer, the local government business officer there. So by the end of this month, by 1st of November, our business officer should be operating in these 9 that are already available. And we only can urge other local governments to speedily make available a space for us so that we can set up our local government business office and ease the access to OSHA at the local government level for our residents.
Honorable Adeoye Adelakun, Chairman, Board of Directors, Osun Health Insurance Agency, also has this to say about the plan of the agency.
We are opening business offices in the various local government areas. Because these are the people that will take care of the interests of those people in rural areas that will not even have to come to Shubu for anything. Because the healthcare facility they will require or they will use is there in that locality where they are. But we need people that will send to the head office their requirements and what is necessary for them to use in that place. That's why we are opening business offices in all the local governments and LCDs. They will contact the head office real time. Even the healthcare facilities there, we get in touch with the head office real time, such that if we need to actually send a panel list to them, if you just get to them, not even by manual, but digitally, they will see at any click in here, they will see in there in their various areas. That's why we want to have people and desk officers in all these places.
Farm Sumono Lasukomi is the Director of Programs, Osun Health Insurance Agency.
It's now become very imperative for Osun Health Insurance team to move closer to the people at the grassroots. That's why we are contemplating opening up our offices in the 30 local governments of the state, plus the area office. And actually they have allocated offices to us, but the most important thing is for us to go and take possession of those offices. And that's what we are planning. Like my boss said, before the end of this month, we will have taken possession of all those offices. We are going to renovate them, furnish them, and put some taste into those offices. And you will post business officers, and that office will be doing all the work of enrollment, collection of data on behalf of the headquarters, and regularly will be visiting them to put things in order in those places. When we say enrollment, it's not limited to the informal sector alone. Some formal sector enrollees have complaints. They can go to those offices, lodge their complaint. Apart from using our call center, they can go to those offices and lodge their complaints, so that we will be everywhere. Because the mandate of the agency is to cover every resident of the state under health insurance scheme. And like I said, we have alerted all those local government through our Secretary of Health that we are coming. And some of them have given us a description of what is in that office, so that we will know where we want to intervene when we want to innovate those places.
Among the activities of Osun Health Insurance Agency in the recent time is the sensitization exercise embarked upon by the agency across every nook and cranny of the state to create awareness for the people about the benefits that accrue to the enrollees of Osun Health Insurance Agency.
Sílẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àjọ wa tẹ́ ẹ bá ti forúkọ sílẹ̀ pẹ̀lú 12,066 naira odidi ọdún kan gbáko ẹ̀ ní sanwó treatment lọ́sítò tí yín ni pé ká rẹ́gísítà á wà fún yín ní káàdì ìdánimọ̀ káàdì yẹn lẹ́ mú lọ sí hospital tẹ́ ẹ bá ti débẹ̀ ẹ̀ nà sí wọn mẹ́ ẹ̀yin lẹ́sọ̀ hospital tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ tó bá wù yín tẹ́ ẹ bá ti sọ àti orúkọ yóò ti wà mẹ́ ẹni tó bá wà lálábòyún lé tí yín ni pé ká rẹ́gísítà tí yóò fi bímọ àwọn làwọn bàbá yín mójútó láì san £1. ikùn dùn mí lónìí o ẹ̀yin ni o apá ni tí wọ́n tarí kùn wáyìí ẹ̀yin ẹ̀ṣẹ́ àti ẹ̀yin ẹ̀ṣẹ́ ẹ̀ṣẹ́ǹdì wọn sọ́fítù tẹ́ ẹ bá ti rẹ́gísítà pẹ̀lú wa wọn ò ní sàn kankan mọ́ o tí wọ́n bá tún wá ń gbé oògùn ní kan ẹni tó ti bá lọ́rùn dé 57,600 tá a bá ti rẹ́gísítà báyìí ẹ̀yin mẹ́fà odidi ọdún kan ẹ̀ ní sanwó kankan máa lọ síjù kẹ́ẹ̀kan máa lọ sí ọsítù kẹ́ẹ̀ máa gbà wòsàn ọ̀fẹ́ lókù ẹ̀yin akànṣẹ́ wá síwájú tá a bá ti fẹ́ ṣe registration á wà á bá yín.
ìyàsándó officers house.
kò sí àti ìwọ ó ti pọ̀ ọ̀sọ̀fẹ́ kẹ́kù rẹ̀ ṣe lè gbẹ́gbẹ́gbẹ́ ìwòsàn ọ̀fẹ́ lọ́gbà ó ṣe àṣírí ìwọ́n ló tètè lọ́gbà tiẹ̀ ètè forúkọ sílẹ̀ kẹ́kù rẹ̀ lè jí gbẹ́gbẹ́gbẹ́. ìyàwó sọ.
You are welcome to the segment where we celebrate the achievers in the society. As I said at the beginning of the program, that the personality we are celebrating on the program this week is an accomplished professor of English, Professor Samuel Ayodele, an illustrious son of Iresi. This is Balogo's compound in Iresi, Oluwadro local government. This house is the origin of Professor Samuel Ayodele, a professor of English at the University of Ibadan, who is also a famous author. Professor Samuel Ayodele was born in June 2, 1944, to late Daniel Ayodele Agbeleye and Mrs. Janet Adekemi Agbeleye. He started his elementary education at Baptist Day School, Iresi, Okeshedo, Iresi in 1950. Being from a humble background, while striving to get secondary education, he had this experience.
From 1957, I gained admission to Osun Grammar School, and I started the secondary school education in January 1958, Osun Grammar School. I spent only 2 years there, 1958 and 1959. After those 2 years, I transferred to Obokun High School, Ilesha, where I was from 1960 to 1963, a period of 4 years. If you count everything, you get 6 years, which was the norm in those days for secondary schools, from 1 to from 6. No GSS, no SS in those days. So I left Obokun High School in December 1963, and when my results came, it turned out to be the best result in Ijesha area by that time. In those days, we usually have grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and I was in grade 1 with distinctions in most of the subjects. However, it was a tortuous period. It was a turbulent period in my life because my father wasn't able to cope with the school fees in the later part of my education career in the secondary school. As a matter of fact, in the last 2 years, I couldn't pay a kobo, which made it necessary for me to be ejected from the boarding house. I had to actually ejected from the school in the last 2 terms, more or less, in 1963. So I had to be taking my examinations for the West African Examinations Council from home. Well, as God will will it anyway, I came out the best. As I said, the only one in grade 1, and it turned out to be the best result in the JSA division in those days.
Despite the fact that he was a brilliant child, he could not secure admission immediately. He obtained his ordinary level certificate. He had to work for some years before he could further his education.
I had to make do with unemployment. Otherwise, I would have easily got an admission to a university, but I couldn't. So from 1964 to 1966, I had to be working with the then Western Region Minister of Agriculture, which posted me back to Ilesha. It was then I had to settle my old debt to the same school. After clearing my debt, up to 1966, I gained admission to the then Federal Advanced Teachers College in Lagos, which later became Federal College of Education under University of Lagos. There I did my NC from 1966 to 69. And thereafter, I had to seek employment with, which I obtained with the Imesili High School, where I worked for something like 18 months, from 1969 to 1970. So thereafter, by 1970, I got admission to the University of Ibadan. Actually, I secured admission to 3 universities in those days, because there was no JAM by then. You could take admission examination to many universities. So I secured admission to 3 of them, but I chose Ibadan, where I did.
Why did you choose Ibadan, sir?
Oh, evidently because number one, it was nearer by that time. I secured admission to University of Lagos, which was my old alma mater. I secured admission to University of Nigeria in Nsukka, and of course to Ibadan. Balancing the equation, I just decided to opt for Ibadan because of course the distance. I did education, specializing in the teaching of English and to some extent geography, because you have to have 2 teaching subjects, with one of them as your specialty and the other one as a minor. English was my major and geography was my minor. But by the time I left the university, I could teach each of them confidently.
As he was a classroom teacher, he was also a prolific author, but an unpleasant event happened to him, which made him to decide to go for his master's degree, with the dogged determination to pursue his education to the highest level. As it is an acknowledged fact that behind a successful man there must be a good woman, Mrs. Comfort Ayodele is the better half of Professor Ayodele.
We met at Imesili High School in Obokun area, Ilesha. He came to visit his friend, who was my brother. That was how we met. I was a teacher there with my friend. So we got married in 1973. I was still an undergraduate of the University of Ibadan. I was finishing that year. We got married. And the marriage has been so successful, so happy. We are happily married with children.
How will you describe his character?
Well, my
As an
husband is
husband.
so homely, so loving, so caring. We are really happy together. That's how I can put it. We live together happily, we understand one another. We hardly quarrel, and even if we do, we settle between ourselves. He's a loving husband, so hardworking. Like you can see, you have met him working. We work into the night, we wake up very early, begin to work. He's so hardworking.
Being an educationist with great value for education, the library and information center donated by Professor Ayodele to his community has been adjudged to be the best secondary school library. Not that alone, he was the first indigene to donate a building for the commencement of the College of Technology in his community. Because of his unsurpassing contributions to the development of his hometown, he was elected the president of the Progressive Union. God raised Professor Samuel Ayodele from humble background to greatness. You and I can attain any height in life through hard work, diligence, and perseverance, crowned with the mercy of God. Join me next Sunday for another educative moment, God willing. Till then, stay blessed.